Hey guys, it is JQCrafty. Welcome to my stop on the Scrappy Inspirations YouTube and Instagram hop. Honey, I shrunk the layout. So I'm not going to take a 12 by 12 and shrink it down to traveler's notebook or anything. I am going to show you something that I like to do. So on Pinterest, I find so much inspiration for large photos, okay? Like these few. And I don't know if a lot of you are like me, but I know this is how I work. I don't get to print my photos on a whim. I can't print them from home. I do not have a printer of any kind. I usually order them, and I typically order them through like a Shutterfly app because a lot of times you can get free prints through there. And so a lot of times I just make sure they're printed, and that is that. Not a lot of thought goes into me printing mine ahead of time at all, ever. Rarely. On rare occasions it will. Or like we just took family pictures, so specifically I'm looking at those and going to make sure I get some 5x7s, 8x10, some bigger scale photos. But typically it's just 4x6 or sometimes a 4x4 if I know there's a photo that has a lot of extra stuff that I don't need. Or I get this lovely guy from my son's school pictures. So I'm actually going to scrapbook this today. But I love those large photo layouts, and I'm like, I really want to do them. So instead of doing them, I'm going to treat my photo as if it is that large scale, do everything the same on it, but put it in its own little square on a bigger page. And then on that bigger page, you can either do a crazy pattern, you can outline it in white so it stands out, you can do mixed media, something. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to, specifically this one, and I haven't decided if I'm going to mirror image it yet and put everything over here because his body's facing that way. He's kind of straight on, so I'm not quite sure what side I'm going to do things on. We might have to play with that and find that out. But I really like this. And it basically I'm going to create a square with this instead, and then put that on a bigger sheet. That's my plan. And I think I'm going to play a little bit more with my Jen Hatfield. My Jen Hatfield. So more than likely, I'm probably going to use some of this. Probably not a lot of it. My guess is I'm going to use more of this, and then I'll need a 12 by 12. So I haven't decided too if I'm going to do mixed media or not, but yeah, let's get started. So I'm just going to trim the little white around the photo. It was like, we always get a package where we get one 8 by 10 and then two 5 by 7s, and then like it's like a multi-pack of, they're bigger than 3 by 4, but that's what they are, and they're all a little bit different background, and we have just enough aunts that we give them, and then I get the scrapbook one, so it works out perfectly. So this is the one I get to scrapbook. So it was on like a cut apart, the 4 that come together, all different backgrounds. So I trimmed off the edge, and right now I went through the 6 by 8 pad to figure out what kind of patterns I was thinking I wanted behind it to make those little layers that are just peeking out from behind the photo. Obviously mine's not going to be a complete scrap lift, but I liked the idea of some layers and something overlapping on the photo, and then just some mixed media down the corner of more of a neutral pattern. So I'm going to make basically a big block. That whole layout, that 12 by 12 layout that I showed you, is just going to become a tiny block, and it ends up being 6 by like 4.5 block basically. So I'm just trying to find the 12 by 12 that I like how it looks behind, and I pulled that creamy one out first, and at first I hemmed and hawed because the other side of it is a cut apart, but then I realized, like, did you just see how much ephemera I have that I haven't even touched? I don't care about the cut apart sheet. Like, we're gonna pretend it doesn't exist. And so I really like this neutral. So we're going to go with that. And then I was really liking the blues because he's wearing blue, but then his background is all these trees and nature. So I was really pulling towards the blues and greens, but I wanted some of that pops of coral in there as well. So when I'm going through deciding which papers to use, and because of the blue, I grabbed my Distress Oxide Chip Sapphire. I'm going to ink all the way around this. And then I'm going to also ink around the complete photo block that we are making. And I'm going to do a little packaging technique on the background. And on the neutral part of my photo block. So now I kind of decided, okay, I really want this text paper to be my base, basically. So I'm going to get that trimmed down with the photo on it, and that's going to be as wide as we're going to go. And then we're going to frame the whole thing in that like tone on two-tone blue checker to give it a little more blue pop and make it stand out. And I really like the way that turned out. And then I'm going to ink the edges of that as well with Chip Sapphire just to give it a little darker edge. But we're going to do that. I'm kind of kicking myself. I don't know why I didn't layer the other two papers behind it first before I put it on then the white paper and then on the blue, because then I have some wonky angles on the edges, but I cover it up one edge, so it works out. But doing that, and then I decided, yep, let's do some mixed media on here. I didn't have a lot of water. My little sprayer ran out. Because I was just going to splatter and whatever, but it wasn't working. So I grabbed some packaging and just started smooshing. Just smooshing it around. And then I decided, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go direct center. I'm not someone who likes everything direct center. I like things a little off kilter, things a little askew. I don't like things centered completely. It just doesn't register with my eyeballs. So I'm gonna put it more in the right, down in the right corner. And this is a very simple page. Like, I do not do pages with a lot of white space, and there's a lot of white space in this page, but I really like it. It's really impactful, and I'm not going to do journaling or anything because it's going to go in his school album, and it's literally just his school photo for 2020 and 2021 this school year. So I don't need to do anything other than that, just to document what his school photo looked like. So here I am, I think, I'm taking some of the strips. So I decided to go with the green and then the floral pattern with the coral and the green and the blue. It had a little bit of everything in it. And I'm just cutting little strips and kind of layering that behind the photo. And I really like that. So we're going to slap it down right where it is because that looks perfect. And it looks like the mixed media kind of came out of the paper, I think. I just really like it. So I'm going to futz around with a lot of the embellishments and look through a lot of things because I haven't played with this collection a lot. And it's a lot of home stuff, not a lot that just applies to boy only or school related. So it was really hard to figure out what I wanted to put on there. And like I had mentioned before, almost everything has word on it. So it's hard to, which I know you can easily cover up the words if you need to. That is something you can do. I just wasn't feeling that. I was kind of stuck. So I cut out a lot of me futzing with all the things. But I decided because that pattern paper that's the white with the words on it, the text paper, also has the word memories is stamped, not every time it's on there, but it's like stamped in gold. So I decided to get some of the gold puffy leaves and overlap them onto the photo, and I'm okay with covering up the date on the photo because I'm going to put a label later and write it down anyway. So I know I want to do that, but I need something to go down in that corner of the photo, and so then my little photo block is gonna kind of spill over onto the 12 by 12. But it's my way of getting that look that I liked of the 12 by 12 large scale photo, shrinking it down and making it smaller and then just putting it on a 12 by 12 background. There's so much ephemera with this collection. So much. So I end up, grabbing that circle wreath ephemera. It says so much happy and it's perfect. And then I need something to go up top, and I did pop that up on fun foam, or some foam squares actually. And then I need something to go kind of up on the top left corner of the little photo block. So I'm going to find another piece. It's like a wood grain arrow, and that says noted. And then I'm going to place a couple gold puffy leaves under there, as well as a label that I'm going to then stamp 2020-2021 on, and that is it.
Make sure you check out everybody else who is following along. Like I said, this is a very simple layout, but it was a very clean design. And when you shrink it down and put it on a 12 by 12 and you don't add a lot of other things, it ends up even cleaner. So thanks for watching. Follow everybody else who's playing along with this awesome hop down below. There's going to be tons of shrinking of layouts, making miniature layouts on your large layout, shrinking to different scales. It's going to be great. So check everybody out, and I hope you guys are having a fabulous end of November and are ready to welcome December. See you guys. Bye.